Welcome back to Velshing Rule. A new investigation from Reuters claims Johnson & Johnson knew their baby powder sometimes contained asbestos, but they keep that information secret.
Reuters, which looked at through many company documents spanning multiple decades, reports Johnson & Johnson didn't tell the FDA that at least 3 tests by 3 different labs from 1972 to 1975 had found asbestos in its talc. The stocks have been hit by this. Last I checked, it was down, there we go, but 9.5% right now, which is actually a bit of a recovery if you look at where that was a little while ago. But the stock is down sharply on this. This is on pace to have its worst day since 2002, when shares in the company closed nearly 16% lower. Now, in a statement to NBC News, Johnson & Johnson said the Reuters article is one-sided, false, and inflammatory. Simply put, the Reuters story is an absurd conspiracy theory. Johnson & Johnson baby powder is safe and asbestos-free.
Well, joining us now is the Reuters reporter who broke this story, Lisa Girian. Lisa, those are some really tough words from Johnson & Johnson. I mean, they're saying
conspiracy theory. That's incredible.
It's an extreme conspiracy theory. So make the case for us, please.
Sure. Well, you know, our story is based on documents. They're Johnson & Johnson's own documents that go back to 1957. And we looked at them thoroughly, and they clearly show that the company was receiving reports of small amounts of asbestos in its talc, in the ore that they mined for baby powder. And this information didn't start to come out until this year in a series of trials over whether or not baby powder causes cancer. And if there, you know, I would happily invite people to take a look at our website, Reuters.com. We've linked many of the documents that have become public there. So people can take a look for themselves.
So the statement from them is interesting, where it says our stuff doesn't contain asbestos, the talc. That's not actually the issue about whether it does today or not.
Right. This story has nothing to do with the baby powder that they sell today. We're looking historically at what they knew about their talc and their powders, really beginning in 1957 through the 70s, 80s, 90s. And we see a couple of reports of what they call below detection limit asbestos in baby powder talc produced for Canada as late as 2003.
Is there any circumstance in which asbestos should be in baby powder? Like, is there something?
Or maybe not should be, but
is.
So there was no intent. This is not intentionally added to baby powder or put in baby powder. It just happens that talc and asbestos are chemically very similar and occur often, you know, cohabitate in the ground. They're, you know, found together in a lot of these deposits. So it's a totally inadvertent thing, and the company didn't want it to be there, and, you know, did a lot to try and remove it. But we see in memos, several memos, where they recognize that not all contaminants can be completely eliminated, and what we're talking about here are very, very small amounts.
Then on what ground is Johnson & Johnson saying that your piece is a complete conspiracy theory?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
To the extent, I guess, what does success look like here? A settlement, an admission that they knew that there was talc? Because if you're saying they weren't deliberately putting it in there, it may have been inadvertent, it may have been in small amounts, but the issue is they knew and have denied that they knew.
Right. We see a number of reports. There are testing documents and memos where they're talking about asbestos, how to test to do about it, you know, this is all coming to light. There's been a number of news stories about the litigation that's been going on, and as a result of the trials, a lot of these documents, which have been confidential, they're internal corporate documents, came out into the public domain, so that we were able to gather hundreds, if not thousands of them, and examine them and really pull back and see what they knew and when they knew it.
Lisa, thanks for your reporting on this. Lisa Girian of Reuters.
It's most about cover-up and admitting it's there, right? It's not. But it's not a question of it may have been there, but we didn't know it was bad, or at such small amounts it doesn't cause an issue. But if you knew and you covered it up.
That's what the issue is, yeah. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.